Hello, everybody. This is Jay Lawson, and I am the Algebra Honors Teacher. So you have your son or daughter in periods 2 or 5. And I just want to welcome you to St. Mary's, and so I'm excited to meet everybody and get to know all of your children. It's about my 34th year here at St. Mary's. Been teaching math the whole time. I'm currently the track coach. I have a freshman daughter who's also class of 2025, and I have 3 children who have graduated from St. Mary's as well. So I'm also doing things from your side as well as a parent. About our course, we are doing a second semester algebra course for all the honors students. So it's going to be chapters 7 through 12. And they'll spend their next 2 trimesters as their freshman year in geometry honors, which puts everybody that wants to on the AP calculus track. The book that we have to use is on our website. If you go to the school website and hover over academics, I'm sure most of you already have your books, and you can click on the book list, and the book's $14.99 that they'll have to load onto their device. Let's kind of go through the different summaries of what I have for you, and then there's more detail on my class pages and on my website. For homework for me, it's going to be about 30 minutes a night. I'm pretty big on not giving very much homework over the weekend, maybe only once or twice a year. So I want the students to be kids as well too, and enjoy themselves. But I will really try to do a lot of work with them during the week. I like to get a lot done in class. I like to start homework so I can see who's understanding what and have them work together on that in class. My homework is due the next day, and it's due at the beginning of class. As I teach classes, I really need the kids to stay on top of their homework, and that's usually never an issue with honors students, because I need to know if they understood the lesson. The next day, we'll correct everything and check in on all the problems, and I'll often dive into deeper problems and more difficult or complex problems after we've answered all the questions for a deeper understanding. The homework should have work when work is required. If it's a simple one-step equation, I don't need any kind of work from them. Then tutoring, extra help is available. So we have our A blocks every day after school, and I'm available for those. I would say if any student is struggling, please encourage them to come to my A blocks afterwards first, before you have to go hire and pay for tutoring, because I'm free, or I'm already paid for in your tuition. And that way I can start working with them, get more detail on where they're struggling, and come up with some ways that we can improve, help them prep for tests. Sometimes it's just me sitting down with your son or daughter and figuring out where they're getting stuck in one particular part of a problem that will then solve 4 or 5 different problems for them. So that's every day at A block. Often won't have it on Fridays if we're not having any work, but I would be available if they needed it. The way I grade for the grade breakdown, and by the way, this is all of my syllabus, everybody, which you can read in detail on my class pages. Their homework counts for 10% of their grade, which is not going to move their grade probably more than a plus or minus overall. And then 90% of their grade is their tests and quizzes. Your skill-based part of all of your concepts are going to be the majority of their score, 80%. And then every test will have 1 or 2 questions that are critical thinking. It may be they have to explain a process, or an example would be that I give them some parameters. I don't know if this means anything to people, but a system of equations is 2 different equations. I might say, write one for me that has no solution. That requires them to come up with the 2 equations that satisfy those parameters, and making sure the slopes are the same and their y-intercepts are different. Which really tells me they have a full, deeper understanding of everything that we're doing. Some of our critical thinking may be more problem solving, where we're applying it to geometry and or taking a couple different concepts and have them put them together and show me they have a deeper understanding, or maybe a little more complex problems. That's only going to be 10% of their grade. So for example, we have a chapter 7 test. You're going to see a skills grade in their Power School, which is 80% of the grade, and you're going to see a critical thinking grade for the same test right next to it, which is a much smaller percentage. We will practice critical thinking. We will get better at it as we go. So expect about a quiz or a test per week. Okay, but we'll have nothing this week. And a quiz is usually on 3 or 4 sections, and it'll be about 50 points. We do not retest quizzes. I'll get their retesting done during the chapter test, which will be the entire chapter, and they'll have a chance to redo those quiz sections within that. And the chapter tests are 100 points, so it's double the value. You may retest any chapter test. Now, I've told the kids, I'll explain to them for each retest what they'll have to do. Oftentimes, it'll require them doing their corrections of their original test, and I'll give them some sort of a practice sheet that's got problems from each section to make sure they're reviewing and relearning and practicing so that when we come in on the retest that we are successful. And I'm available to help them with all that on the A blocks, but they could also do it with their tutor. They could do it with you at home, with friends, but I'm always available for them to do that as well. If your son or daughter struggles on the first test, I would just check in with them, make sure they're prepping well. I'm going to check in with them and get the retest going for them. Many students will correct themselves right away in that first 2 weeks. Maybe they just weren't familiar or comfortable yet with my style of teaching and my expectations. So we want to give them a little bit of time in these first couple of weeks to, find their way and not panic, but also make sure you're there to lend that hand and just, check in with them if they need it. I would say if we go a test and a retest and we're not doing well, then please reach out to me. We need to check in, maybe start assigning them some A blocks where I can help them. And then it just comes down to, I've got to start figuring out, do I need to help them prep better? Where are we having our issues? And it might be how they're taking the test, what they're doing to prep for the test, et cetera. That's our retesting policies, et cetera. Other than that, I think that if your son or daughter struggles, let's reach out with each other, and we're going to come up with plans. If you see a test score that comes back, it could even be like a B-, and you want to ask me about it, please shoot me an email, because oftentimes a parent will see a B-, and it's really excellent work on 5 of our topics, and maybe there's one topic that they really didn't understand. They got none of those right. As a parent, you see it's an okay score. As a teacher, I see we have great comprehension in all these topics. I got to fix one topic with them. And I can break those tests down for you by email, et cetera. If you don't want to talk or meet, the best way is to email me and then let me know like that you would like to talk, and I can send you my number and we can get a time to get together and talk. If you call the school, I don't have any very good way for you to be able to talk to me. I mean, I have a phone in my classroom that is only for within the school, but us getting in contact should not be a problem. And okay, as far as Power School goes, I am required, and I try to stay on top of this as much as possible because I think the faster I get work back, the better. So I'll be entering work in there regularly into Power School. So it's my responsibility to make sure I'm informing you as parents that homework is getting done, and here are your quiz scores and your grades. It's your responsibility as a parent to be checking that either by looking at Power School or talking to your children, however you do that. But there should be no surprises at the end of the trimester or after 5 or 6 weeks that you feel you have not been informed about their grades, because I'm informing you every couple of days as I update that. So if you'll stay on top of it from your end, if you don't like something, please reach out and we'll take care of it. And then I guess lastly, habits of scholarship is what we're going to put in as far as how they're doing in class. And for me, everyone's going to start with an M, so they all meet expectations. If the fastest way to get a U in my class is probably to not do your homework, or you're not trying, or you're not paying attention. And if those things are happening where it's going to get to that point, you and I will have already had a conversation as a parent and a teacher. But my experience is that these honors classes, the kids are very motivated. They like to succeed. I'm a very motivated teacher that wants to see all of your sons and daughters achieve. So I'm going to do the best that I can every day to try to figure out different ways to teach things if I have to. And lastly, I'm a big effort guy. So I really believe that if your grade is not as good as they would like, increasing effort is the first thing that we want to look at. And that might be me helping them learn how to do that. What should they study for their tests, et cetera. And we want to study smarter, not harder, and not just do a bunch of maybe the same things that weren't working before. And I can really help them with that if they'll stop by after school. So again, welcome to St. Mary's. Look forward to meeting many of you on back to school night. And if there are things early on that you can help me with your son or daughter that you know works really well for them, if there's anything going on, that's all great information to, if you just want to send me an email or check in with me. Because it's going to take me a week to figure out names. It's going to take me a couple weeks to really get the flow of the class. And we're just working in partnership to see your children succeed. So hope to see you on Thursday and have a great day.